Hey everyone, today I'm going to be telling you the true urban legend of Charlie No Face. This urban legend originated in western Pennsylvania in the 50s and 60s, and if you grew up there or knew someone who did, it is very likely that you've heard this story. It is the legend of the Green Man, also known as the No Face Man, who used to walk the remote streets at night. So the legend of the Green Man states that he glows green as a result of being struck by lightning or being shocked in some kind of industrial accident. He is said to haunt South Park or the North Hills or the country lanes around Washington, Pennsylvania. He was said to have been some sort of spirit or ghost who used to walk the streets and back alleys trying to scare passers-by as part of revenge for some past tormented life, and his disfigured face just further played into this beliefs. Mary Werner, an Elizabeth Township native who grew up in Pennsylvania in the 1960s, said, "The legend goes that he roams that hollow late at night and chases the parkers and loafers." However, despite the part about him chasing and scaring people being false and just simply a fabrication of the truth in order to make a not so interesting story a little bit more interesting and catchy, the rest of it is fairly accurate. The true story is based on Raymond Robinson. In 1919, when he was 8 years old, he was reaching for a bird's nest at the top of an electrical pole when he was suddenly shocked with 11,000 volts of electricity. He was sent flying to the ground with severe injuries. The high voltage shock burned Robinson's face and arms, leaving holes where his eyes and nose once were. The injury was horrific and caused a severe disfigurement to his face and body. However, people from the time noted that he was still in good spirits and he could still hear and talk fully functionally. However, he was blind. For the next 65 years, he would hide himself in his family home in Coppell, Pennsylvania, making doormats, belts, wallets, and selling them to generate a small income. He would only leave his house on walks in the dead of night to avoid scaring people with his appearance. And it was from these walks that the legend started to develop. It originated when some high school kids spotted him from their car walking along State Route 351. This explained the fact that he had a disfigured face. However, what a lot of people then questioned was, why did he have a glowing green appearance? And the theory that was provided as an answer for that question was that the name Green Man came from how car lights would reflect off of his shirts when they passed him in the night. So there was actually nothing really superstitious or supernatural about this man. He simply was just a man trying to hide himself from everybody else because he did not want to scare anyone. One resident of the time remembers seeing him on her way back from a swimming hole down the road, and she recalled that she was so scared it was unreal. Despite there being a lot of cruel attitudes towards him, or people being very frightened of the man, others befriended him and would bring him beers and cigarettes for his night walks. Pete Pavlovic, sorry if I butchered that name, who was then 60 years old, would go out and give him a beer, which is what he said in a 1998 interview with the Post-Gazette. He also said that many people would often meet at the diner he worked at before heading out to try and spot the man. People who didn't know Robinson were often shocked at the sight of him, and they did want to call the police. However, once locals explained the story, they'd usually just go back up looking for him with beers, cigarettes and food and gifts for him. However, as I did state previously, many people were cruel to him and they would give him a ride, only to drop him off at an unknown location to him as a cruel joke because he was blind. There was more kindness to him than cruelty. Phil Ortega, a native and schoolmate of Robinson's sister, said that he was a very nice guy and he would often bring him Lucky Strike cigarettes. However, despite much media coverage on his story after his death, little more is known about Robinson's life other than he lived a fairly solitary existence. He passed in 1985 at age 74 of natural causes. The myth of the Green Man still endures very strong, saying it is still often used as a threat to teenagers if they go out late, that the Green Man will get them, and is also just used and spread around as an urban legend still. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe if you did enjoy this. If there's any other stories, true crime, anything like that you do want me to cover down below, don't forget to comment it down there and I will hopefully get around to it. I also do want to do some more obscure stories, so if you have any of them, please let me know. Thank you so much and I will see you tomorrow.